Hi, everyone. This is Scott Nybakken for Dynamite Entertainment, and I'm here today with Jimmy Palmiotti, the co-writer, with his partner in crime, Amanda Connor, of the amazing upcoming crossover series, Harley Quinn Elvira. Jimmy, thanks for joining us on the channel.
Great to see you, Scott. I apologize for Amanda. She pulled a all-nighter working on the actual book we're going to talk about, and I didn't have the heart to wake her up since she just fell asleep a couple hours ago at 6 a.m. So I'll try to field whatever we can while we're here.
No worries. Like she needs her rest.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that after both of your historic run on DC's Harley Quinn title, you and Amanda are regarded as one of the defining creative forces on the character, certainly in the comics incarnation. But for the viewers who might be more new on the scene, can you give us a quick rundown on your history with Harley Quinn?
Sure. We were. My personal history is I think the first time Amanda and I did a comic years before, a short story for Harley, and then never touched on the character for many years later. But I also worked on the Injustice game, which had Harley in it. And at the time, real quick, I was with Dan DiDio at a retailer convention, and somebody said, "Hey, you guys should bring back Harley." And Dan literally just turned around to me and said, "Hey, would you and Amanda want to do Harley?" And a couple of days later, we came back to him and said, "Well, we don't want to do a book about a character that's abused all the time. So if you let us do the book, we want to take her out of Gotham, and Amanda wants to change the outfits, and we want to do a couple of things different." And the vibe was, "Hey, you do whatever you want. It's gonna get canceled within a year anyway. So do whatever you want." And we did just that. Amanda reworked the costume, and we got Chad Hardin to do the book, and then we took her away from the Joker. We moved her to Coney Island, which made sense to me because Paul Dini and Bruce Timm created the character. She was from Brooklyn, so it just made sense to me that if she had to move back, she wouldn't move back to her parents' neighborhood in Canarsie. She would move, but nearby, like in Coney Island, she can kind of blend in at Coney Island. So,
Yeah.
So when we did that, we changed the book, and all of a sudden, the book became a bestseller. And Jim Lee called it the fourth tier character of DC Comics. And all of a sudden, there's a Suicide Squad movie, and a Birds of Prey movie, and an animated series. And what we did was what comic fans love the most is we took a character they love, gave the character supporting characters instead of keeping Harley in Gotham, which is for me, we were never going to learn who Harley was if she had all the other characters around all the time. So we gave her own supporting character, and yeah, we did over 100 and something issues of the book. We did specials and annuals, and the book has always remained in continuity. So if you read the first thing we did up until the latest thing, including this Harley and Elvira series, it's in sequential order. No matter what they did in the other books, ours is in sequential order. And as a comic fan myself, I appreciate when that happens because there's nothing worse than getting a character and seeing 50 different series about the character. You feel like there's nothing at stake anymore. And but yeah, so we hit on something. We pulled from the cosplay that we would see at the shows, and Amanda started changing the costume every 2 or 3 issues because she said no woman has one outfit in the wardrobe. And DC let us do whatever we want. Once it was selling, they literally said, "Okay, you guys, you know what you do, and just keep writing the book." And at one point, it was 2 a month. We were doing 2 books a month plus a quarterly annual. So it was a lot of work for over 5 years, and this will be our official coming back to do Harley again after those years.
Excellent. And switching to the other star of the series, do you remember when you first encountered Elvira, the bewitching mistress of the dark?
And yeah, I mean, I saw the first movie she did. I remember my buddy Joey Delfini's a huge Elvira fan, and we checked out the movie, and we thought she was fun, and she kind of made fun of herself, which was kind of fun too, and we just thought what a great character, and since then she's become a bigger star. But when she first started, she was definitely like something, it was like a horror movie host, that kind of blew up. And and now she's part of pop culture. So it kind of made, kind of made sense. This kind of crossover makes sense in the weirdest way. Um, but that was the first time. I think the first movie was the first time I've ever seen her, like, more than like 10 minutes or 5 minutes on something.
No, yeah, and I'm sure at this point, obviously, you and Amanda can almost automatically channel like Harley's voice. But how much of a challenge was it to get inside Elvira's head?
So with Amanda and I use a rule, like when we hear Harley's voice, we almost hear Bugs Bunny, because Bugs Bunny's from Brooklyn. We almost hear that kind of wise guy, a character that kind of stirs the pot a little bit and gets everybody nuts around her, like Bugs Bunny. And as we were doing Elvira, since she's actually has her hand in the dialogue in this book, we're seeing how she likes her character to be represented, and it's a little more salacious, and she's got like a wise guy remark for everything. There isn't a panel where she's not putting a 2 cents in with a wisecrack. And she also references pop culture a lot, which we don't do in Harley. That's the big like in Harley, we don't do it because we feel it dates the book, but her pop culture reference is timeless stuff. So it kind of works. But they definitely have two different tones, where Harley's more, Harley can go and commit murder and do crazy, Harley can be pushed to crazy places. Elvira's not that person. Like, she's not the killer, and she's not all that stuff. She's the mistress of the night, but she's not a monster in it. And Harley can be a monster at times, so the two characters, they get along, and then they disagree on certain things, and eventually in our book, Harley starts to understand that about her, and starts manipulating things a little bit around her, but it makes for a fun book, because it's set in our, we have all the supporting characters for Harley in the book, and we also pull out some of the characters we love in the DC universe to make an appearance in the book. So we've gotten a lot of leeway from Dynamite and DC to kind of do what we want to do on this, and so far so good. It's looking great.
Oh, great. Now, and as the story gets underway, like Elvira is facing the cancellation of her beloved late night hosting show.
Right.
An injustice, which I think we're all familiar with.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, did you have a local monster movie host that you were a fan of?
I because I'm a little older. We used to have the thing that Chiller on Saturday night, where this hand would come out of the grave and go, Chiller, then it would go back into the ground, and it was like a 6-fingered monster hand, and that was as close to a host, I think, as I remember, because it was like, I think it was Channel 11 in New York, and they used to have that as the intro. I mean, I remember as a kid, Rod Serling was the host of Twilight Zone, right? Like, the hosts were Mutual of Omaha had guy, like every show had this kind of host thing. But the horror hosts, I don't, as a kid, I just remember that 6-fingered hand was my Saturday night cue that there's going to be a monster movie on that night. So it's come a long way from a body part to an actual person.
And without getting too far into spoiler territory, like in the story, Harley's cunning plan to save Elvira's show seems to involve the two of them throwing a raging Halloween party in Brooklyn and collecting the proceeds. So, given Harley's somewhat mercurial temperament, is this going to devolve into a potential Fry Festival or a Fire Festival situation?
It's less about that and more about. So it's less about them trying to get Elvira's show back. It's more like Elvira show has been put to pasture, and Elvira's looking for the next gig, and Harley is throwing a giant Halloween bash in Coney Island, and she wants it to be the biggest bash ever, so she's hiring Elvira to host it. But nothing is as simple as it seems, because Harley wants to make this the biggest party that Coney Island's ever had by trying to get actual monsters involved, and all this kind of stuff. She's kind of doing the Halloween parade, the version of the mermaid parade that happens in Coney Island,
Oh
doing
yeah.
a monster. But it's more about how those two kind of get in trouble and bond and work towards their goal. Um, and Elvira, if you read the comics from Dynamite that Elvira's in, she's always kind of getting either booted off her show or looking for the next gig and everything. And we kind of kept that theme. It seems to be a theme in her career of looking for the next gig kind of thing. So we have a little bit of that. We have a lot of Harley madness, and then the two of them having to deal with situations they're in. It's a really fun series.
Yeah, and, Amanda is doing covers for the whole miniseries, not just one cover for each issue, but two covers for each issue.
Yeah.
And she's also drawing some of the interior pages along with the artist Juan Samu. What's the collaborative process been like with him? Because I'm seeing some of the art that it's not just they're swapping pages; they're panels like on each other's pages.
Yeah. So Amanda's Amanda wishes she could draw the whole book, but timing is not great for that. So there's sequences in each book that has like 3 or 4 Amanda pages in it. Sometimes panels leading into things, and Amanda's picking and choosing what she wants to illustrate. Usually, it's either a dream sequence, or it's a lead-in story, or it's a backstory, something that makes sense that she can interrupt the regular story. And she's having a blast. I mean, she's penciling, inking, and coloring each page. She also chose to do 2 covers for each book, right? So she's got a work cut out for her because she's got to co-write it with me as well. But the process is she did the pages in advance so when he looks at the book he could see not only how Amanda wants the stuff. Amanda's like a control freak, okay? Just so we know. So she wants everything to look a certain way, they're both doing a great job, but it is an amalgam type of book. It is definitely interesting to see the differences, but at the same time, they're pretty fluid. It's not going to like be startling to you, like you're going to change the page and it's a completely different thing. It's a pretty fluid type of storytelling, but it is kind of fun to see the difference between the two of them. Amanda is definitely from the Chuck Jones school of storytelling, meaning you don't even need the word balloons. You can just look at what she's doing and you can figure it out. So it's just an interesting book. I mean, if you like either of the artists, you're going to have something in there that you like.
Great. Finally, if there were no legal barriers to worry about for some hypothetical follow-up series, who would you have crossover with Elvira, and who would you pair up with Harley?
So if it was Elvira, I might do Elvira Godzilla because I think Godzilla's been everywhere. I think we need Elvira because I can see Godzilla being Elvira's pet. I can see that happening right away. For Harley, Amanda would just want to do Power Girl again because she loves Power Girls. It would be. I would like to do Harley Quinn, Painkiller Jane because they're both from New York, and it would just be a fun thing to do. But there's so many possibilities. I mean, we've teamed up Harley with everyone we could at DC. So I guess the next thing would be to go to Marvel, and I'd love to see Harley live with the Fantastic Four for a week to drive them completely insane. There's so many situations you can do with Marvel characters. Harley Hulk would be like the craziest thing you've ever seen. She would probably get along with him just fine, but I like I said, that's a loaded question because there's so many. She's like an easy character to pair up because in our head we know the character so much, we kind of know what she would do.
Yeah.
And that's how these comics write themselves, is like how the character, when you know a character that well, you kind of know instantly you got a good story idea. It's not like you're beating around the bush or looking for one. You would instantly know it. And with Elvira, it would definitely be, it would be her, I would let her pick it out, but I would say Godzilla would be a fun one just visually. Her writing Godzilla would just be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would love to see any of those.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jimmy, thanks for taking us behind the scenes of this Titanic new team up. Harley Quinn Elvira #1 arrives in stores this August, so make sure to pre-order it now. And don't forget to follow Dynamite Comics on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X to hear more about all of our upcoming releases. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.